Jack the Cunning Thief. There was a poor farmer who had 3 sons, and on the same day the 3 boys went to seek their fortune. The eldest 2 were sensible, industrious young men. The youngest never did much at home that was any use. He loved to be setting snares for rabbits, and tracing hares in the snow, and inventing all sorts of funny tricks to annoy people at first and then set them laughing. The 3 parted at crossroads, and Jack took the lonesomest. The day turned out rainy, and he was wet and weary. He made a bed. At nightfall, when he came to a lonesome house a little off the road, "What do you want?" said a blear-eyed old woman, that was sitting at the fire. "My supper and a bed to be sure," said he. "You can't get it," said she. "What's the matter with me?" said he. "The owners of the houses," said she, "6 honest men that does be out mostly till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and if they find you here they'll skin you alive at the very least." "Well, I think," said Jack, "that their very most couldn't be much worse. Come, give me something out of the cupboard, for here I'll stay." Skinning is not much worse than catching your death of cold in a ditch or under a tree such a night as this. But then she got afraid, and gave him a good supper, and when he was going to bed he said if she let any of the 6 honest men disturb him when they came home she'd sup sorrow for it. When he awoke in the morning, there were 6 ugly-looking spalpeens standing round his bed. He leaned on his elbow, and looked at them with great contempt. "Who are you?" said the chief. "And what's your business?" "My name," says he, "is Master Thief, and my business just now is to find apprentices and workmen. If I find you any good, maybe I'll give you a few lessons." That they were a little cowed, and says they had none. "Well, get up, and after breakfast, we'll see who is to be the master." And to the journeymen, they were just done breakfast, when what should they see but a farmer driving a fine large goat to market. "Will any of you," says Jack, "undertake to steal that goat from the owner before he gets out of the wood, and that without the smallest violence?" "I couldn't do it," says one. "And I couldn't do it," says another. "I'm your master," says Jack, "and I'll do it." He slipped out, went through the trees to where this was a bend in the road, and laid down his right brogue in the very middle of it. Then he ran onto another bend, and laid down his left brogue and went and hid himself. When the farmer sees the first brogue, he says to himself, "That would be worth something if it had the fellow, but it is worth nothing by itself." He goes on until he comes to the second brogue. "What a fool I was," says he, "not to pick up the other. I'll go back for it." So he tied the goat to a sapling in the hedge, and returned for the brogue. But Jack, who was behind the tree, had it already on his foot, and when the man was beyond the bend he picked up the other and loosened the goat, and led him off through the wood. Open. The poor man couldn't find the first brogue, and when he came back he couldn't find the second, nor neither his goat. "My latched," says he. "What will I do after promising to Hannah to buy her a shawl? I must only go and drive another beast to the market unknowns. I'd never hear the last of it if Joan found out what a fool I made of myself." The thieves were in great admiration at Jack, and wanted him to tell them how he had done the farmer, but he wouldn't tell them. By and by, they see the poor man driving a fine fat wether the same way. "Who'll steal that wether?" says Jack, "before it's out of the wood, and no roughness used?" "I couldn't," says one. "And I couldn't," says another. "I'll try," says Jack. "Give me a good rope." The poor farmer was jogging along and thinking of his misfortune, when he sees a man hanging from the bough of a tree. "Lord save us," says he. "The corpse wasn't there an hour ago." He went on about half a quarter of a mile, and there was another corpse again hanging over the road. "God between us and harm," said he, "am I in my right senses?" There was another turn about the same distance, and just beyond it the third corpse was hanging. "Oh, murder," said he, "I'm beside myself. What would bring 3 young men so near one another? I must be mad. I'll go back and see if the others are there still." He tied the wether to a sapling, and back he went. But when